That is cool that he's taking number 4. I like when players take a number for a specific reason, right? If it was 2, everyone would just be comparing him to Kawhi to an extent. I like him taking 4 though. 4 is cool. He's taking it because his wife used to wear 4 for Texas, so that's cool. It's like a superhero, man. You need a reason to wear your cape. It needs to represent something. All right, so this is pregame Memphis Grizzlies. Let's take a look at what he's, because what we really care about is what he has to say about Fox, right? So let's listen. You guys can't hear a thing. Here we go.
To start, you've got Chris Paul, you've got Fox coming in. Can you talk about just the evolution of the point guard?
We need Caitlin Clark. That'll be cool.
When Chris Paul first came into the league to what you're going to be dealing with now, those two guys working with him.
Yeah, the point guard in probably every position has evolved quite a bit since Chris entered the league. Positions are a very fluid idea these days, and whether style of play from a team or just a skill set from individual players, the game has just kind of morphed into skills and versatility and multiple skill sets kind of complementing and playing with and off each other. And the guys you named obviously have a whole lot of skills. So the versatility and room to grow and being creative will be at the forefront.
Just backing up your thoughts on De'Aaron Fox, who's going to be coming in, and maybe your early thoughts on what this might look like when, the best case scenario for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's, I believe it's his 8th year in the league. His resume speaks for itself. He is a top player in this league, both ends of the floor, dynamic in every sense of the word. I think he won Clutch Player of the Year 2 years ago. Might be off by a year or so.
2023. He won it in 2023. There you go, coach.
I mean, it is dynamic, and we're looking forward to adding him to the group and continuing to grow. And
Clan, the Spurs not, this is super random. Clan, the Spurs not making the play-in. There's only 35 games left, and they are behind the 11th spot by 3 games. They have to play 75% ball the rest of the way. I mean, someone else could also just kind of fall off, That's not true. Like, you don't have to, it's not like every single team ahead of us is just going to continue to, like, they're going to win 100% of their games, and then we have to, the Spurs can make the play-in. You're just a few games off. The Spurs can make the play-in. Also, just here, we'll take a break from this. I am curious, out of those teams, who are some of them that we play? Do we play any of them? I actually don't know this for sure. All right, so we'll start with the standings. So who's ahead of us right now? So we need to make these 2 spots. We got the Suns and the Warriors ahead of us, and we got the Kings ahead of us. So let's see if anything to kind of help our change. Everything's so close, by the way. Look at the Mavericks are basically tied with the Kings for that 8th spot. All right, so we'll keep them in mind. Let's see who we play. So we play the Suns. We literally play the Suns soon. We play the Kings. We play... Am I missing somebody? The Warriors. And we play the Kings. So we play... not the Kings. We play the Suns twice, and we play the Warriors twice. The Spurs could definitely... They could definitely get into that spot. It's going to be hard fought, but, like, we're about to be we're about to be much better. We're about to be much better. I think we can do it. I truly do think they can make the play-in now. I wasn't bought in on that at first. I thought my 44 wins was still pretty high, and I thought you don't make the playoffs. But now, I think the Spurs can make the playoffs. Yeah, I think the Spurs make the playoffs. Or at least make the play-in.
Trying to maximize and help these guys.
We would definitely be much better. Yeah, and not to mention if they make another move in the next day.
Play off each other.
Coach, a lot of what you guys are doing, obviously you want to win, but a lot of what you were
Aaliyah is right too. Aaliyah said, y'all even if we don't make the play-in, it's fine. We aren't ready to continue yet. Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the day. Everybody's coming pretty late to the party, you know. It's fine. So we have a lot of draft assets. We'll be fine. I don't see a clan. In order to have hope, Spurs need to win the next 3 in a row. Okay. It's going to be tough, especially on the road, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We did not get worse. That's all I'm saying. We definitely got better. Even a Fox that hasn't really played with the team yet, we've still gotten better. Our offense and defense efficiency has gone down the drain over the course of the last couple weeks. So, you know, and I also think the break is going to help us too after this road trip. We're going to need that break.
About sort of evaluation of a lot of these young guys. How does Fox coming in, how does it change things, or does it?
You know, I think the players have always dictated playing time, starting lineups, finishing games, roles. You know, Pop has a great quote, you know, the players will tell us. And I think even when, you know, there's so much talk about Victor and timeline and winning and development.
If the players would tell you, then why didn't you challenge that other game when they were getting ready to kick Steph Castle out of the game? I'm just kidding. He's right though, and this is what Popovich has said. Like beginning of the season, he was like, "They'll tell us. You'll see it. You'll see who starts, who ends games." Yeah.
In this evolution that we've gone through, as you allude to, we've always wanted to win. Sometimes this league dictates the capacity or opportunity at which you can do that at in a big picture. When you add a player like De'Aaron Fox and you already have a strong foundation, there will be opinions and expectations that come with that. What that means, what the timeline is, we won't get into that, but we will not shy away from the reality of adding good players and things that come with that.
Hey, Coach, it's not the first time you guys have met. What can you take from the first few games you played against each other to prepare for tonight?
We can't compete with. I mean, we already lost. We know what happened. So let's just skip. We can't compete with the Grizzlies, man.
Play the way they do unapologetically, and it's a lot of credit to Coach Jenkins, their staff, and their team. They have a real identity, and they play to it. They're seeing a lot of success doing that.
Going back to the new guys coming in, do you have a sense of like the process for getting them in, getting them up to speed? And especially because I think you probably have 0 days of practice between now and the end of the season.
I believe, you know, it's the same for all the teams making trades at this time. The protocol, I'm sure, is guys flying to market.
Why did the Spurs struggle against Memphis? I think it's a couple things. I think it's their pace. Memphis has an incredible pace. You know, as far as we're concerned, it's just we don't have enough talent. So Grizzlies have a lot of depth, and we're just not there yet. So they just kind of beat you down. I think that's a big reason why the Spurs will stay in a game with the Grizzlies, and then by the end of it, they just open it up. Like they just destroy you by the end of the game. Like you're not expecting the game. It's like a yeah. It's just they have a lot of depth and they play really fast. Memphis has size. Yeah, they have that too. I'm trying to bring up the. Let's see. Let's look up the game real quick. 109 to 128. So when you're going against a team like the Grizzlies, it really is just a game of attrition. Can you hang in there? I feel like that's the main thing with them. Because they're okay with a game being close, because they know by the end of it they can open it up. Because they're gonna keep hitting you over and over and over and over. Like, let's see here. Gosh, what's up with this big ad right here? What the heck is that? All right. So Spurs did a pretty okay job of playing multiplayers. I mean, these right here, this was just, garbage time. But let's see. We play 5, 6, 7, 8. But you can see here, this is a big difference too. So we played 8 players, and they were able to play 9. I'm sorry, 10. They were able to play 10 players. Good minutes as well. So this just breaks you down, man. When you're playing at a top tier speed, because the Memphis Grizzlies is the fastest team in the NBA. So you're playing at a crazy speed, and then you have so much depth, and you have so many minutes. It's just a game of attrition. They just break you down. Because you can see here that the Spurs were kind of in the game, right? But then just as time went on, it was just too much. It was just too much. You just open it up. If anyone else has any other theories on why we have a hard time with Memphis, please let me know. But I really do think it comes down to talent, depth, the speed that they play, that we're not really there yet, and just a game of attrition, man. It's the reason why they're, third in the NBA right now? They just break teams down.
We have physicals passed from all the parties involved to make sure it's completed. I know the trade's been announced by all teams, but you still just need all those I's dotted, T's crossed in the sense of that. And then, if there is a opportunity for De'Aaron and Jordan as well to meet us in Atlanta and be ready to go, then they'll be ready to go. I mean, they're in the season. There's no concern of ramping up conditioning or whatnot. And, we obviously know there will be a runway of learning our program and terminology and how we do things. But again, these guys have been in the league a while, and there'll be some patience and some, I'm sure, excitement on both sides from the group here waiting on them and them joining the group. And it'll just be something we work through and try to expedite as much as possible without having a ton of practice time.
And you already have a starting point guard in Chris Paul. Do you have a sense that you can play both of them together if you need to start?
I don't know if he'll just answer this, but Chris Paul should come off the bench. No offense. Fox starts. He should come off the bench.
Both of them together if you need to.
Yeah, I think one thing we've seen this year is our lineups have been ever-changing and evolving. We played, Trey. We played Chris together. We've played Jeremy or Harrison at the 5, and it's going to be just a continue Rubik's Cube puzzle that we'll put together and try to find combinations that work.
Coach, right now all the focus is on all-star games and trades and stuff like that. But since you've taken the lead role, what?
I don't see the Spurs getting in. The key will be if Kings slip from here, and Warriors will pick it up. Spurs will have to win 5 in a row just to get back to 500. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Let's just see how we do before the break. But I think post break is when we'll really get cooking. But I think it's possible. That's all I'm saying. Before, I didn't think it was possible at all. Now I think, I'll say it like this. I thought before maybe like a 30% chance you get to the play-in, but I don't think so. And then I thought even if you make it to the play-in, you don't make the playoffs. Now I'm like 55% that you get to the play-in. It's very possible. And I feel like if you're in the play-in, I'm betting on the Spurs making the playoffs. I think they show up. But yeah, we've seen a Spurs team that looked really good at nights, team that looked really bad at nights, and they only gotten better. So I just assume, more talent, you should win some more games. Not a crazy amount, but enough to get you in, to play in. We'll see. It's going to be a fight.
What have you learned about yourself and how have you grown as a coach?
And it's okay if they don't. It's okay if they don't. Oh, they just asked him how does he feel like he's grown? That's cool. That's a good question.
I think just trying to make sure I allocate my energy and my voice in the right places. That's had to change a little bit in the role change, but for the most part, we do it as a group, and the program and the goals and the process of the way we do things.
I don't doubt the talent. I doubt Mitch Johnson. Man, if Mitch Johnson could just call timeouts at ideal moments, I think it'd be so much better. or at least challenge certain things. I don't know. That doesn't happen too often. That was just like one game that I got really irritated by that. But the timeout thing, that happens way too often. A team will go on a run and we just sit on our timeouts as if we're gonna be able to roll over them to the next game. I don't like that.
It hasn't changed. It's just as much of me probably trying to understand.
Yeah, and he's an assistant coach, like the chatter just said.
And how to be efficient and maximize myself while also relying on the staff to do a lot. And, just how much support I've got. And with that, I know I haven't been asked, but, Trey Jones, Zach Collins, and Sidney Sissoko played very, very integral parts of our program. When you look at, Trey and the 4 years that he's been here. And
yeah, I agree with you. Opinion sports show. The rotations have been kind of strange as well. Like I've always said, I'm like, you need to utilize more players on this team. You have no shot at beating a team like Memphis doing that. And you have, I don't know. I feel like we're just handicapping ourselves a little bit when you play less players with this roster, right? He sometimes sets up rotations as if we're already in the playoffs, because once you get to the playoffs, you kind of hone in on certain guys more. Like, yeah, you still have your depth and whatnot, but you really hone in on certain guys. And I think like sometimes he does that, where it's like, dude, we have more players that we can play right now. Like, give a little bit of rest, and they'll be all right. I don't know.
The fabric of our team and the competitiveness and the drive and just being one of those connectors on and off the court. We got Zach Collins when he was out for the year injured, and he was the best I've ever seen at any level of joining a team while being injured and being a part of the team in a genuine way. There was no fake hustle, there was no rah-rah. That's hard when you join a team and you've been injured like that. And it was been very fascinating and happy for him to see him go from that to now back as a rotational player and playing at the level he has. And then you talk about City, who
I want to see Mitch get upset and ejected, just to see he has emotions and cares to win. I feel like, okay, first of all, I feel like stuff like that is a little for show, like I don't want him to be out of character, but even with that, I've seen Mitch Johnson get crazy though. Like I've seen him get upset. He hasn't been ejected, but like I've seen him get upset. You don't want him to start just being performative just for the sake of it. Like, look, guys, I care. Like, it's the least important thing as far as a coach getting riled up, right? Like, everyone has their different styles. I didn't see Phil Jackson get hot too often. Like, I didn't see him get angry too often. And he was a phenomenal coach, even though I hate saying that.
We played a year in the G League, and now, a young player that looks like he's on the cusp of being able to be in the rotation. So 3 players that have been such a big part of our program. And I think sometimes when you're not there every day, there are certain guys that get a lot of ink and a lot of questions from you people, as they should. Victor, Chris, De'Aaron Fox, and whatnot. But those 3 guys were big parts of our program, and I think there's common sentiments from all them and from us about them in terms of sad to see them go, grateful for their time here, and appreciative of everybody involved. And I think, if anything, it's been a reflection of our program from top to bottom in management.
Oh, he didn't say much about Fox
and
anymore.
the support we have here. So when you ask that question, I know I took you a long, windy road, but that's something that I think I felt, and at this time is very, very applicable.
All right, let's see. We'll look at the post game and just see if there's anything. Well, let's see here. Is this post game? I'm sure he's just gonna talk about the game though.
I guess before we get to the game, what was your perspective on the medical event that happened before the game and kind of your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I really hope that person's okay. Does anyone know any updates on that? The person that was carted off, like the fan or whatever?
Obviously just thoughts and prayers with the gentleman. Hope he's okay. I didn't really see anything other than obviously, I believe it was Mark Lindsay came over and just said we had an incident and they were obviously going to attend to it. And, obviously we were very understanding and just wanted to give them all the time and space. And that's why we thought it was best just to go back to the locker room and, just allow them to tell us whenever or if we would even be coming back out. So we at some point got.
Sports Center said he had CPR administered and is at the hospital. No update. Okay.
Word that he was doing better. But again, that was a couple hours ago, so I don't want to speak too much on it. I don't know much, but that he was doing better and they got him off the court and they wanted to proceed.
Did you give was there any indication of y'all not playing this game? Was that discussion taken?
I'm not sure about that. I know at some point the medical situation was the priority, so I'm sure there was a lot of conversations had. We were just kind of playing the waiting game and letting them tell us what they thought.
This doesn't matter whether or not we're going to play.
You give Memphis a lot of credit. We've played them 3 times in not a very long span, and at some point, the physicality game, they've wanted to impose their will on us a little bit. And tonight,
By the way, beginning of this game, Wemby was phenomenal, dude. Wemby was like playing so hard. You can tell they're preparing for Fox.
Team in the league. You just insert player name, and it really doesn't change much. And tonight he had a good game. And
all right, let's see here.
Did you feel like the pace caught up with y'all in the second half?
Pace always catches up.
I don't think it caught up with us in the sense that
they played more players. They have more depth.
The NBA games are long, so there will be runs. And at times, good teams typically know how to sustain when they're on runs, and they also know how to limit the other team's runs. I think that's something that we're still learning how to do. So when you're playing a team that's on a run, especially on the road, sometimes a quick shot may not be a bad shot, but if you miss that shot, you are fanning the fire a little bit. And I think that's something that we are continuing to try to.
That's true. Wait, like you said, sustaining runs, it also comes down to rotations, and they play more of their players, but they also have more depth. I do think the pace, I think that's the same thing to me, but anyways, good stuff. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to get Fox. I'm super excited.